My name is Tiffany McKemmy. I am the Wisdom Senior Care Pittsboro office's admin assistant. I'm also a direct skilled expert, and I work directly in the field with several different of our clients. In the beginning, that was the hardest part. It was trying to find the balance between being a caregiver in the field and a caregiver at home, because, well, you're caregiving all day, and you kind of feel exhausted at the end of the day when you have nothing left to give. So my balance line is actually on my way into work, as I blast a lot of music. On my way home, I blast a lot of music, and that kind of relaxes me. It's my little break. So the way I see it is, these are people that have had their children, and sometimes, I get to discuss with them little tidbits of advice about raising children. And sometimes I share stories about my kids to bring out a smile for them. It's hard to balance, and it's not really in words. You just kind of have to learn your rhythm with it and where your line's going to be. This is not what I'm going to talk about with y'all, or this is what we can talk about. You have to figure out where your rhythm and line is to make it work for you.
And she's made it clear that she won't leave. Her father's in his 80s.
There are days my phone won't stop ringing or beeping because I've got teenagers with smartphones messaging, "Mom this, Mom that," and all day long I just want to run my phone over with my Jeep saying, "Leave me alone," so I can do my job. And then there are days when, I get home and I get a triple hug from 3 kids. And do I share what happens with a client? More or less, no. It's, "Mom, how was your day at work?" type number. And sometimes, if it was really bad, or, like something dramatic happened with a client, I might say it was a bad day at work, and then they just kind of focus on me for a little bit. The kids actually focus on me, and they'll make me like a ramen noodle for my dinner, or a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, or try to make dinner for me. They try to cheer me up in their own little ways. My oldest, she actually cooks, and she'll make an actual dinner for all of us sometimes. Now that they're teenagers, trying to teach them responsibilities, it was easier at that point, because I was able to say, "Okay, y'all can do the dishes now," so I don't have to come home and do dishes. It's starting to get a lot easier for me on that number, but at the same time, it's a lot harder, because now they want this extra stuff, as teenagers. So the balance in the dealing with being a caregiver 24/7, it's, well, you're a mom 24/7. It doesn't stop then. The only difference is I get a break away from the mom, because your client, you can go do the laundry and they're not going, "Mom." You can go to the bathroom and they're not saying, "Mom." So it's a break for you. It's and your client says thank you. And your teenagers, not so much. Sometimes when you hand a teenager or a child their dinner, they just sit down and start eating. They don't even care that, you had a bad day and it took you however long to make their dinner. They're just eating the food that you were obligated to make them in their mind. So that's the difference. A client says thank you, child not so much. But they're both just as grateful in their own way.
Where to start? It's hard and you need help.
Every new client I meet, I get the same anxious feeling as when I first started. When I first started, I'll never forget the panic when Patricia looked at me and said, "You're good," and went to leave me with my very first client. To this day, I still get that flutter that kind of lets me know I'm on my own. it makes me take the time to get to know that client. And as you get to know your client, you apply and tweak the skills to fit that individual client. Sometimes I do have to reach out and call Patricia and say, I don't know what's going on here. I don't understand it. Or how do I make this work in somebody else's eyes can change it for me. But usually, you just have to step back, take a breath, calm down and realize I know the skills. And if this was any other situation with anybody else, how would I do it? And then, not saying it'll fall into place automatically, but once you realize once you start relying on your training and knowing your job, you fall back on it and you can do it. You just got to trust yourself. It takes time, but you'll build the confidence in yourself to rely on yourself to do the job. And your clients kind of help. Your clients really do truly help because they don't want you to fail. They want somebody there just as much as you want to be there. They want somebody there to help them. So they're going to help you. And you have a team. Wisdom preaches team. So you're precepted to your new client. And the person that precepts you is going to give you, hey, this is how I'm doing it. And this is what's working for me. And you can take your skills that you have and kind of tweak them to fit. Or, well, that's your rhythm, but that's not going to work for me. And you can tweak it to make it fit for you. But you're precepted so you can use the skills that you know to fit.
Choose wisdom, we will be there to answer your questions.
Patricia's my boss. And Patricia knows I've got an anxiety disorder, I've got PTSD, and I've got status migrainous. So I get migraines that are really bad that can put me in the hospital. Patricia's the type of boss that's going to work with you. All I have to do is talk to her. She watches out for us. As the admin assistant, I'm watching the hours of caregivers and I'm talking to Patricia going, hey, so-and-so's pulled a lot of hours. Let's talk to them and see if we can get them a day off. Not because I want that person to have too many hours or anything like that, but because I know too many hours, you're gonna get tired. You're in an emotional tired, not a physical, but an emotional tired. And the only way I can help you is to say, hey, let's get you an afternoon off, a day off. And I know Patricia and I have sat down and we've discussed how can we help this caregiver? How can we help that caregiver? And we do what we can to see what we can do to boost a caregiver back up if that's what we need to do, or redirect a caregiver if that's what we need to do. We've talked to, we worked through, I want to say it's CCCC, which is the community college, and their director. So those students that come in through that school, we work with that director to make sure that student is doing the best of their abilities and keeping on top of it. Caregivers that are rising up and that are doing really well, we go out of our way to make sure that caregiver won't fall. Just because you're rising up doesn't mean we let go. We want everybody to succeed. We want them to stand out and shine. We don't want them to fall down. And that's, as the admin, I'm seeing and learning. And when you find something like Wisdom and you find that, hey, this company actually cares, you find home, you find a fit.
Searching for quality care. Choose wisdom, we will be there to answer your questions, offer suggestions, make a plan that meets your needs, and our team will work on